I just was given a video that it's rather long, really, really informative video, well worth watching. It's LaRouche international conference. Um, the guy's got a pretty good idea of some some of the problems, and it's the information that he's lacking which is not making him come up with a solution. So I know it's probably, this is what I'm finding all the time, is that as soon as I see, somebody sends me some videos on things that look like a good idea, looks like, oh, here's a guy that's working towards change, it's like, no, this ain't no change. This is the same game, and either he doesn't know it, or he's part of the same wealthy elite propaganda. Let me tell you another good story. And it's the reason why I kind of think that it is just part of the same game, the same elites, the good cop, bad cop game that goes on, is because these organizations aren't really ever interested in, okay, if I'm wrong, where am I wrong? And they're just very, very tunnel vision in what they want, and they're not receptive to receiving any information of where you could be wrong. And basically it is, first of all, keep the president in office. He's doing a good job. And, get rid of these guys or that guy, but keep the president in there. It's like, why don't you get rid of all of them? Why is it that you would even support something that you know is completely illegal, but yet you're keeping a president in office? Like, and we should all agree with that. And then the suggestion of, well, now you got to gain some trust, so this is what you got to do because Americans want to trust their president again. And it's like, that's where you're going to go wrong right away, is the guy doesn't, clearly, he says he's insane, he says he's stupid, he says he doesn't know how to think. Obama, this is how he's describing Obama. So while you have the biggest idiot on the planet, his idea is keep him as president. To me, that just sounds as insane as Obama would be, Plus, the guy is not mentioning any problems about, the history with slavery. Never really realized the poverty issue, never ever addressed why there's poverty in any country, which is the slavery issue, which is there's a huge problem that nobody wants to face. And this guy didn't mention any of that, didn't try to even get rid of that. All he did was offer solutions that would create more and more of that poverty. And it's the same poverty, not so much on this grand scale, but enough poverty that, we don't really see it too much, so it's okay. There's no interest for the little guy. This guy is interested only in the big guy. He is still, even though he says it's a bad system, if you can watch some of the things that he's saying, it's the corporate world has taken over, basically, but let's support the corporate world once again and build a different infrastructure that's basically the same. This guy is doing the same pattern all over again and can't see it. I stopped watching, I doubt very much, just because as soon as I seen, okay, this guy just wants to make CEOs rich again, because it's the middle and upper class that aren't happy, and that's the only focus this guy has, and that's the only focus most politicians are, is keep the slave masters happy, and who's the one doing all the work. The guy wants factory work again, all of, which I haven't got too much of a problem with that, but if you see the mindset, it is still all about the worker has to do all of the labor. The guy at the top that owns the company that, basically just sits on his ass ordering people around, gets all of the money, all of the profit, Same game. I haven't seen anything different there. And the guy on the bottom is making next to nothing. Probably under his lead, you'd be volunteering to get things started more than likely. And by doing the types of labor that this guy's suggesting is going to cause healthcare problems, which he doesn't offer any healthcare solutions. There's massive healthcare solutions, but nobody's really interested. Nobody's talking about that. And why? Because most healthcare problems are caused by the industry that this guy wants to get rich off of. It's not a solution. It's the same game all over again, mostly because he's missed out on a lot of information. He makes a good story. He did say an awful lot of things that I'm sure a lot of people aren't aware of, and because you don't know of the history of how things got started, and you could tell a good story off of a limited amount of information that nobody might have known before. So he does tell a really good story, a lot of good history in there, but it's only like 1% of what really happened. And as long as you only tell them 1% of the story, it's like, okay, why are you leaving all of the other information out there? You know, why would you be keeping a president still in power when you know, and you're saying he's a complete idiot, you know, like, no answer for healthcare, support for the industrial structure. I'm not seeing any changes within well, mind you, I stopped watching when I started seeing he's just repeating the same system, but these are the things that I look for. You actually have a healthcare plan, you know, and it's a pretty easy plan. It's not rocket science. You just have to want to do it. And it's not something that you can't afford. It's actually extremely cheap and affordable for everybody, but it's illegal to have good health care. And so I know the healthcare system that would actually work for people, and I wonder why guys like this don't see it, don't know it, don't want to know it. So that's one way of me telling that right away is the healthcare. If you ain't saying the story about healthcare, I know you ain't got a plan that will work. I look at wages. Who's making all the money? You know, is it the rich CEO guys? What's happening with poverty? Are you ensuring that there's nobody in poverty, and how can you ensure that nobody's going to live in poverty? Giving up land and giving back to farmers, you know, giving back our resources. He's kind of saying that, but yeah, like how you can pull that one off. You know, how are you going to get... Another one is we've already admitted that our justice systems don't function. There's a flaw within our justice system. Everybody says it's not a perfect system, but it's the best we've got. Well, the guy that's going to have the solution to this global problem is going to see what the solutions are to this imperfect justice system. And I didn't see that being talked about either. I might have missed it, but like I say, it's kind of really hard to watch something when you already see it going down the wrong path. But it's well worth watching for anybody else that wants to see it. At least you'll get 10% of how everything started. You'll get an idea, but just understand this guy's missing out on an awful lot of information that you should know in order to understand what a solution actually looks like. So I'll put a link below. See what you think. Peace out.